Yes, I'm professor at Swiss Distance University for Applied Science, and I want to show you collaborative game books for education and training. These kind of games are made for teachers that they can have their own learning content, pack it into a serious game. So, what is a collaborative game book? It's a digital interactive text-based story which creates the whole gaming environment into your brain. The learner actually has to do some actions and can influence the whole story. And he also meets other learners into online rooms for some certain tasks which are most of the time asynchronous. This is like like you can imagine how it works. You read this text in a fiction where educational content is in it, and you create in your brain, you create the whole environment. That's the same principle like if you read a book or if you look at a movie about the same thing. In the most cases, the book is better than the movie because your brain is better in creating such environments based on stories. I will show you some smart example how that looks like. I click here. Okay. Is this? Yeah, restart. Okay. So you can use it also. It's on the internet. It's just a small demo example. So the first day you put in your name. Let's say I'm Peter. Oh, can I? Yes. Yeah. I don't see it here. No, okay, I have to do some interaction. Go ahead. No? Can I? Where? Ah, here. Okay, I see here. Okay. So you have to have a task to fulfill, like here. Take care of 4 children. You start at 2 o'clock and you have to end at 4 o'clock. And if you can do that, you are successful. Go ahead. So you are invited by your neighbors for babysitting. You are in their house with 4 girls, each 5 years old. Their parents just left the house. So just after the kids have seen a nice birthday cake on the table in the middle of the room and are right away to catch it. What are you doing now? First, you try to hold them away from the cake. You scream, shout them, and tell them to stop. Or you suddenly take the cake away and immediately flee into the kitchen. So this is your thinking action, what you have to do. Let's say I take the first one. You could catch 2 kids holding them in your left and right hand, but the rest of the kids are still on the way to the cake. Even you run behind them, still holding 2 kids. You run around the table and the kids do the same. No chance to get off it. You realize that's not a good idea. You have left 1 hour. So you come to the same, actions with a different story. You still try the same challenging situation. What are you doing now? So you learned this first did not work. So I take this one, and the story goes away. I don't read everything, but then you see, you come into the story, and you have always the possibility to influence the story to make your decision. So it explains how it works, and that is the end. It's now 6 o'clock, and you should finish at 4 o'clock. Peter, you could be better. You had more than 2 hours to satisfy the kids. Try it once again. You end up here. So you see, you have responsive things. What you do has an influence on the whole story. Can I go back to the... Yeah, just click it away. Okay. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Why should you use collaborative game books? First, they are easy to create, and they run on any device, on your smartphone, an iPad, or whatever. It's interactive and it's collaborative because you have certain tasks which you have to fulfill with other students. And you can create experience like we have seen here, or provide learning or practice training. So just to tell stories is not enough for education. So you need a guided thing what you can do if you want to pack in your own educational content. So what you need is story elements and playful ideas. You need educational content and a didactic model. You need collaboration rooms and a technical environment. Show you how it works. This is a first story block. I prepared templates as story blocks. So you have the story block where you have some content of story in it, and you have the decisions, and based on the decisions you see, you have a different feedback. So here the only way to go out to this story block is to go to the blue one. I created 6 story blocks, which is enough for making a whole course. So I've done a course, a 6-month course with 150 lessons, completely with those 6 blocks is enough diversity. The story had about 100 blocks. So you see, you have alternative possibilities, you have collaborative things, you have compositional things. So in order to create what you need. The adaptive model is based on the revision of Bloom's taxonomy. So the story challenge is actually your knowledge you want to put in. On the left side, you can say, okay, I want to have factual knowledge or conceptual or procedural. And the decision you do is the cognitive part. So you can say, do I want to have just to remember something or to understand or to apply? And this is how you create your educational content into these story blocks. This is the technical environment. It's Squiffy, open source software. On the left side, you have the text and a simple markup language that you guide, that you can make your stories also interactive and what if and things like that. You can also put in JavaScript things, but also markup language things. On the right on the right side, you can check it. And if it runs, you can export it to HTML and then pack it onto your learning management platform or whatever. So this is my message to you. Did you ever want to create a fascinating educational game with your own content? So you could use a game book. It's only limited by your creativity. The technical thing is very small. Yes, if I can help, I will do. Thanks.
Sorry, I'm very talkative. Thank you so much for your speech. During your speech, you actually said that it's fairly easy to make the story, but we are doing the same thing at the ARC, and we have some issues with the scenario, and most of the time it's very tricky to make something very consistent, because depending on the bad choice, then you will have consequences, and then you cannot simply come back to the initial.
Yeah, what here really helps is that you have those story elements. What you do is you choose the story element and you pack it side by side. So you have a chain of those story blocks. So this is a complexity you can handle, and is a lot of diversity for the learner. He does not know which story block he will see. So for him, everything is new. It's challenging, yes. But what you can do is to separate the story from the content. So the story can be made by a storyteller, and the content by the teacher, and then you make that together. For example, our story we have made for this 6-month course is a story where the student has to learn how to do the master thesis. And in the story, he runs from location to location, from Paris to London to Dubai, and once around the world, like Jules Verne's 80 Days. And then he travels, for example, to London, and he meets an expert for exactly that issue which the story block handles. For example, he has to deal about literacy. He goes to this expert in London, and the expert asks him some questions, and depending on the answer, he gives you tips and hints and advices and things to read in order to success. Yeah.
Thank you for the speech. Could you just explain us a bit more how the students, they collaborate to create the game? Maybe I misunderstood this part.
There is collaboration block, so you come into a collaboration block, which is an online room, like a Padlet.com, maybe you know a Padlet. And there is a certain task which is part of the story. For example, in my course, the master thesis, they have to put the name of their thesis, and they have to give a feedback to all the students which are also in their room, which are visited the room. So kind of peer feedback, yes. And other rooms have other tasks for the students. And you as a teacher, you see what they do there. So you have to discuss that too.
So we played with a game book in the context of a training, and the difference I noticed with your demo is we could see the progressive, the result, the score. We could see it not just at the end, but also throughout the answering of questions, which could help you know that you're going in a bad direction. Yeah. So what do you think of this?
Actually, I didn't have time to show that. What I have, you have also in the game book a menu system. So you hit on a menu, and then you have a help function, and you have also a function where you can see how you proceed, and you can see how other students proceeded. Because the goal of the game is, for these 20 students, they all run once around the world, and it takes time, yes? And you win if you're the first. And you see how many days you are in front or behind of each other. And also it needs money. You have you have certain money where you have to take cars or trains and things like that, or you have to pay expenses. And if you don't have money, enough money, you have to go to certain activities where you have to do some collaboration work with others. Then you get some more money, yes. Thank you.
Okay. Pardon. So our next speaker is Annalisa Martin-Niedeken, and she will present a paper on training in fitness environments.